super trucker extraordinaire. Well, I am slightly a medium and have been most of my life, and it's with my flow out here in the great wilderness of the United States. And some of the fucking videos that I just got called on with some of the spiritual flow footage again is probably being left in the state of mind wandering for some people. Now, here are some real, honest and true answers for that stuff. A lot of it is a lot of our other sides. They're not actually demons. There's some of our other sides that actually do get caught on the human side sometimes because of structural defects. Now, a structural defect with spiritualness and spiritual flow, depending on the type of bloodline we really are. Some of us, like me, are multiple bloodline, like 2 parts tribal, Irish, Scotch, Dutch, and British also. And sometimes our parts do kind of cross paths and whatnot, and do get caught in different areas because of different signals and whatnot. And sometimes some bigger flows get caught in different areas also. Now, a part of that problem right there looks like a structural defect where somebody's flow got caught in an offset pattern somewhere where they pulled through into the human side. And those are definitely different parts of other human beings' parts. You know what I mean? Just on the spiritual side. Because there really is more to us here than just our bodies. And with some of the spiritual flow that's been coming across people's fucking television screens and radios and bodies in different areas for quite some time now, that a whole lot of us have had to get called and work on and find out information for, that is a part of one of the problems. And some of us do actually get called on that stuff. A couple of the other forms in there are also dead world, like that one running across the road in LA. That is somebody's part actually either coming through Skinny Walkerville, which is actually an Indian term, because I am actually Mohawk and Algonquin. I am friends with a lot of other tribes. And that is a fucking live person's part actually coming through the dead world or the dead zone or whatever after somebody died, and actually running across the road for real in an unarmed state. Because some of us do actually see stuff in a different way without actually sending attack signals at people's parts, because that is really the right way. When you're multi-bloodline like I am, sometimes the all-natural way is for certain parts of your bloodline to utilize your body to actually see some stuff sometimes, which is all natural. It just doesn't happen all the time. It's usually in case of an emergency or a problem thing, until some of like the spiritual flow gets off to the side or into the area where it belongs. And that is also the right way for tribalness and like the clanly sides. And we ain't talking about the Ku Klux Klan. We're talking about certain sides of white people, and that is the truth too. As far as some of the other forms, those are also other forms of other people's other sides, just different sides of their bloodlines, and that is the truth too. As far as some of the other flow out here, sometimes we have movement, and that is the truth. Sometimes we have spiritual flow on our bodies and our vehicles in different areas. Sometimes some of these forms can actually come through and in overloading amounts in different areas by ways of tunnels and being on vehicles, which causes forced pull. What I mean by forced pull is having certain spiritual sides of yourself in movement. And when you have spiritual sides in movement, sometimes they can cause spiritual flow pull in different areas for different kinds of bloodlines and different styles of lifestyles. Not just tribal, also white sides also. Especially if it's like a concentrated area like Scotch and Dutch and Irish and Russian and Bosnian and some of those other sides of bloodlines. Same thing with tribalness too. Sometimes it can cause a ping pong effect. You know, it's like being caught in a mosh, so to speak. It's like a ping pong effect. We can use anything as an example, actually, like laughter. Sometimes if you have laughter and you have spiritual flow upon your body or around your presence, you can cause laughter for other people also, and not just yourself. Same thing with sadness. If you have overloading amounts of sadness, sometimes, especially if you're in movement, like spiritual flow in movement or moving around or working on problems or trying to find different problems, because we all produce sensory and signals and feelings. And even when we're not in a stationary area, which is the way a lot of us really actually try to be in our all natural states in our home areas. But sometimes when we move, or when we are a part of mass transit or flow, sometimes some of our parts do actually wander out and about, and sometimes are uprooted, and sometimes do end up in other areas. And sometimes it is very unfortunate, but sometimes there are some ill-intentional people that do actually purposely cause that sometimes, and sometimes it can be misconstrued for lack of communication and overloading amounts of all kinds of bullshit from a long time ago. Because some of us have actually fucking lived through that and survived through that and had to suck some of that shit up and go into all natural sensory ways to figure a lot of that stuff out. So that actually, overall in the United States, it could be squashed pretty much in its entirety. And to be quite honest, driving all over the fucking country, even in sensory mode and signal mode, even most of the hot spots are a lot better these days. And it's really the truth too. That lets me know right off the bat that a lot of our flow, even growing up from generation to generation, even coming down some older ones' paths, which even me myself, I am also the same way, just not all the time. That means that all natural sensory and signals that went down throughout like the last few generations actually came across the right way in a whole lots of flows and areas, and that a lot of our all natural signals and moments in time and all that stuff actually really worked. You know, even today, like right now, part of the situation where I'm sitting right now is actually a reoccurring problem that seems to be every 10 or 11 years. And it left signature imprints. When I say signature imprints, what I mean is certain parts of myself being in certain areas, working on specific types of flows, even at an earlier time in my life. And we all produce moments in time in our life whenever there's a problem or a signal change or a flow pattern change, not just with human body involvement, but also with our other sides. Sometimes our bodies do recognize and pick that stuff up. It's just knowing how to discuss it and what it really is. And that is what it really is, honestly. It's just different signals. If you're tribalness or Italian, because Italianness is a style of tribalness. And also like with Chinese and Indian and West Indian, pretty much anything tribal, to be honest with you. Can't always tell. The same thing with our other sides, like our white sides. Sometimes we have different bloodlines, and sometimes when some of our parts are in movement or working in different areas or flowing in different areas, either for information or all natural working on the spiritual realm side, if that's what you all want to call it, because even right now I can pretty much got sensory, extrasensory perception, sometimes telepathy. I just don't utilize it all the time. Sometimes I really do get used for medium work and different jobs and stuff like that, and that is definitely the truth too. But anyway, that's what a whole lot of this really comes down to. It's just different signals, different feelings, certain intentions for some stuff, but I don't really get too involved in all that shit. But sometimes it does actually need to be discussed so we can try to squash the fucking problems and try to work through it. Because ultimately, here in this country, we've all gotten a lot better. And a lot of badass situations have actually gotten squashed. And overall, a lot of people are doing the right things and trying to get along, which is ultimately what we've all been shooting for in this country. You know what I mean? Trying to get along and trying not to fucking do too much bad stuff. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You better fucking know what I mean. Otherwise, the other outcome is all-out chaos and disaster and war. And honestly, I can't fucking believe that the majority of the population would really go that route. Because overall, most people in this fucking country are good people. And I don't know. I got a whole lot of other stuff I could say too. But if anybody really has any questions, my phone number is 315-271-1856. My name is Ronald Edward Coonradt Jr. And pretty much anything that comes out of my mouth is the fucking truth. Oh, and let me add in, a lot of this information is so that you don't get left in a mind-wandering state about not understanding what some of this stuff really is. Because sometimes it could lead to insanity and or mind-wandering. and or leaving yourself open for multiple personality disorder, different flow changes, different signal patterns, which could also be misconstrued as warring for some types also. And this is also another means to try to stop it also. And that is the truth. And to be quite honest, even with tribalness, with some of the tribalness problems I've been sensing, not singling out any fucking, specific type of tribalness, but being misled into setting it off, so to speak, or attacking another side of tribalness or other side to try and feel them out, that is not the right way. First of all, it comes down to all natural intentions and meeting with people, and even if there is hostility and other shit, you can still flow with other tribalness in an all-natural, neutral state, which is the right way, to feel one another out. Because with tribalness will cross paths, and you can also tell by feelings. Now, I've come across this before, being multi-bloodlined, with people being weirded out, supposedly, about them speaking in different tongues, meaning like Russian or Bosnian or Mexican, and certain people being able to understand that without knowing the language. It's called all natural feelings and sensory in the same language and signal pattern as in your mind as out of your mouth. Now, that is sometimes misconstrued with some other fucking mind games and shit that go down in different areas that could also all naturally and forced flowably allow certain of those speech styles into one's family or area. And sometimes working through that, because people do have the right to exist, in some of their flows. That's why I stay neutral to a lot of stuff, because it's really the right way too. But on the flip side to that, there's got to be a balance. That means the other side's got to fucking sometimes go into a neutral state also. And that's why I do swear, because I ain't fucking gonna lose my right or have nobody gang the fuck up on me for saying fuck. Believe it or not, that was a problem in quite a few areas for a while too. I don't know if you got any questions or whatever, fucking feel free to give me a call. Just try not to run my bill up too much. Later, everybody. Love y'all. Stay safe.